Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new league racing video on F1 23, our second league race, although it's the first official one, as this is round 1 of PSGL around Bahrain. Of course Bahrain is the first round, it always is, and we are heading out for our first Q1 run, latest on track actually, which doesn't happen quite often. But yeah, we're gonna try and obviously, like always, make it into Q2 on a single set of tires, but that's easier said than done. Preparation for this race was a little bit limited because my pedals broke a day after PSGL Barcelona pre-season league race, so I could only prepare basically like a day for this, which makes it a little bit harder of course, because a lot of people are just grinding the game. It's a lot of fun to play a new F1 game of course, so yeah, that was not ideal, but I still expect a good result. As you can see in the Barcelona pre-season league race, I'm feeling pretty comfortable so far on this game, really enjoying it, but yeah, just some pedal issues setting us back a little bit, but yeah, that's part of racing of course. It's a bit annoying, but it is what it is, just have to get on with it, and yeah, new pedals, so let's see how we can do on those today. And as you can see there, absolute traffic jam in the final sector. I think there are like 15 cars just in the final sector at the moment.
Last sector looks fun.
As you can hear me say, last sector looks fun. But yeah, just heating up the tires at the moment.
Oh my
with
god.
some help of the brakes. As there are just still 10 people parked just in like 150 meters. But yeah, of course our teammates are driving today as well. Marcel just crossing the line to start his lap. Danny Bresnay and Jake Benham all driving today. So let's see what we can do. As Luke Smith gets past us, he went out fairly early as he's already finishing his lap. Could be tricky of course with traffic if you go a little bit early. But he did not get any traffic and is going to come across the line in a second to probably go purple. And as you can see at 28.106, which is most likely not going to be enough to get into Q2. To be honest, I reckon you definitely have to be in the 27s to make it into Q2. But into turn 1 we go, braking just before the 100 meters. You can see, trying to get a rotation in. Nicolas Longe 27.812. Nicolas always fast around Bahrain in any condition based. Well, Bahrain is always dry, but any game he seems to just always be really fast on it. Turn 4, a little bit of a slide as the back end just didn't quite want to stick to the road. Alfie Butcher goes to P1, and thus far it's not been my best lap so far. Again, rear is just a little bit loose. Of course you want as much rotation as possible, but also want to be able to get the power down nice and early. Into turn 10 we go, very hard corner on this game. You either lock up quite easily or you lose the rear too much. Turn 11, gonna be 4th gear through here. It is possible to do it in 5th, but I stuck to 4th. Depends on wings and balance of the car as well, of course. Into the final sector we go. It is 106.148 middle split, 2.7 tenths up on Luke Smith there, as Dylan Warren is the only one behind him. So as I said before, that is not a very good lap time. Into the final corner we go. On the power early, trying to keep it within track limits. DRS open, and it is going to be at 27.816, and it's only enough for P8.
Oh,
so
dear.
yeah, not my best lap. So I had to go out again. You can see we're still P10 as we go into the final sector. I'm not really up on my lap. Into the final sector we were 300 down actually. And going on into the final corner, we are exactly equal on our previous lap. So let's see if we can do the final corner a little bit better at least. We have made it into Q2, but it's only a 1.500 improvement. So
My lap a little bit. Yeah.
not too good, very good laps. Our teammate Danny Bresnay and Jake Benham, teammates I should say, both out. Luke Smith out as well. Shanika Clay out and Dylan Warren out. So first 5 have been eliminated. Yeah, it just wasn't a very good lap to be honest. Yeah, it is what it is. Second lap of Q2 now.
Oh
First,
my god, I almost at the same time, man. The joke.
Yeah, as you can see there, I almost did the same lap time. And that was on new tires compared to used tires. So, as you can imagine, I wasn't very happy with that. And you can see in the lap time, that was not very good as well, because we're only P12. So, in this final run, we've got a lot of time to make up, because that previous lap was really, really bad. And I just haven't been able to set a good lap so far in this whole qualifying session. So, DRS open, up towards turn 4. And let's see if we can at least improve 2 tenths. I think we're going to need 2 tenths to make it into Q3 here. And through turn 4 we go. We're almost 1 tenth up, so that's very nice. And through the fast chicane, always hard to get a front in. And then in the next left-hander you have to keep the rear end stable. This one very important, get good rotation, but not overdo it. As you're on that curb on the entry, and it's easy to lose the back end too much. Turn 10, down to third gear. That was pretty good. Using that exit curb, I'm not sure what is faster if it is using that exit curb, but I try to just choose how I arrive that corner. Turn 11, bit wide there, missed the apex, but we are almost 2.5 tenths up going into the final sector, and that's what I was aiming for, as I said before this lap. So, being pretty good so far, 2.5 tenths up as we head towards the final corner of the track. A 27.593 from Patrick Sipos is P11 at the moment, so we have to at least go faster than that to make it into the top 10. Is it enough? Across the line we go, DRS open. It is enough, it is actually P4. So, solid lap, nothing special, but, you know, good enough in my opinion. People who did not make it, Frederik Rasmussen, Nikos Longe, Patrick Sipos, John Evans, and Alvaro Carreton. Bit of a shocker that Nico did not make it, of course. I think he invalidated his new tire run. I think he only did 1 run, which is obviously makes it harder. And probably the same for Freddy, to be honest. So, yeah. Q3 now. First Q3 lap. And this is used tires. So, nothing special coming up. Used tires do feel pretty good, but yeah, you cannot compete with new tires, of course, and that was a 0.5, and actually puts me in P5, so pretty happy with that actually. Now we need to find 2, maybe 3 more tenths in order to get pole position, so we're gonna try and do that, and just brake that a little bit later, carry more minimum speed, and get earlier on full throttle. So we haven't really managed to do that in the first section, but I remember on my banker lap on that used tire, that first sector was already really, really fast. There's just more time to gain in the other sectors, and that's what we're going to be aiming for here in this Q3 session. Through the first sector we go, into the second sector. We have 5 thousandths up on Barry Bormand, and we just dipped into the 0.1s in the first sector. Through the tight turn 8 we go, into turn 9 and 10. And I was struggling a little bit here, because the HUD was blocking the view to the apex. And I did not notice that in practice, because in practice you're practicing with just my teammates. Usually that's only 1 person in a lobby. So that wall what's at the top left is much smaller. And it blocked the side of the apex and basically lost me almost 1 tenth. But that's why we're league racing, to learn ahead of F1 Esports. And we're still just over 100 up on Brendan Lee. Into the final corner we go. Down to 4th gear we go, as per usual. Clattered to the inside curb a little bit, probably cost me a little bit of time, but up to the line we go. DRS open, it is gonna be P5, and I am fairly happy with that. No one is improving behind me anymore, so as you can see there, P5, 800s away from pole, and with that messed up turn 10, we could have maybe been fighting for P1 for pole position, but yeah. I changed my HUD already for the race, as we had to do a lobby restart anyway. Thomas Rona on pole position with a 0.185, Barry in P2, and then Lucas P3, Brendan P4, and ourselves P5. So onto the race we go now then. We are going for the hard tires, and then onto the mediums later on, of course. Brendan Lee there on the mediums. The man in pole position, Thomas on mediums as well. So both Alfa Romeos. Both Alfa Romeos going for an alternate strategy, or different to the most people at least, because most people are on hards like always. And lining up on the grid now, just making sure that we get purple, so we are far enough forward and have a little bit of an advantage into turn 1, you know. Now, onto our very first official league race on F1 23. We need to try and make it clean through the first lap, of course. It would be very stupid to get damaged straight away in our first race, but let's head into it now. 5 red lights, and away we go for our first race. First official race on F1 23. Brendan gets a good start on those mediums, straight away up the inside of Lucas. Thomas trying to defend from Lucas, and I'm just gonna take it carefully. I got boxed in a little bit by people there, and I had to be careful not to hit anyone. But yeah, you can see I was taking it very cautiously. These guys had straight away going to the absolute limit. Yeah, I just wanted to keep my nose clean at least the first few laps. There's 29 laps to go. P5 is a good position to race from around Bahrain. So these guys going side by side there. I was at least going to have a little look down the inside there. Thomas brakes very deep. But yeah, could not pull it off. I think Thomas had a issue with his tire temperature being reset to 70. Because I think if you get disqualified from the session, it does that. Disqualified from the formation lap, sorry. So yeah, he got put a little bit of a disadvantage, and he wasn't the only one. So we keep P5 ahead of Fabrizio Donoso and Alvaro Caraton. I think Alvaro started P11, so he must have had a great start and taken advantage from the misfortune of others, or maybe he just made some very good moves in this opening lap. So yeah, now on to the second lap we go. You can see Brendan following Barry very closely on the set of mediums, and Brendan of course wants to get past ASAP, so he has clear road on that set of mediums. And I decided, you know what, you guys can go into a dogfight, I'm just gonna chill back here. And they pulled a 1.2 second gap to me, just by fighting and slipstreaming and using that much ERS. Of course, the ERS is the battery system that charges through kinetic energy on the rear brakes and the MGOH through the turbo. And when you press the overtake button, you get around 160 horsepower more. So that's why they're pulling that much of a gap on the straight. On to lap 4 we go now. I've been just sitting back a little bit, not doing anything crazy, saving my battery. Saving my battery for when they started fighting again. And that is happening right here. Lucas sends it down the inside of Brendan, they touch. And I decided, you know what, I'm going for a switch back here, set up turn 2. And that was a good move, because now we've got to run on Lucas, we've got to run on Brendan. I'm going to have a little look down the inside. Brendan moves over to defend and attack to his teammate and Barry. And up to P4 we go, briefly up to P3 maybe here into the fast chicane, but I had to play it smart there and keep my nose clean. Lucas trying to have a little look down the inside, but he would have made it 3 wide, so he was smart not doing that. And now he's an attack from Fabrizio into turn 10. Again, I'm not gonna send it down the inside here, that would be stupid to do, as yeah, I want to keep it in P4. P4 is a good position to fight from for the rest of the race. And of course, the 2 guys ahead of me are on mediums. And they might still have more grip, but they are going to be dropping off, of course, over the next few laps.
Lucas
on to
30, Thomas 40.
The start of lap 6. And you can see there, or hear, my engineer say that they were quite low on battery, 30 and 40%. Lucas sends it down the inside. I gave him room there, and he just couldn't quite pull it off because we had the outside and more momentum. Had to use a bit of my battery there to stay ahead into turn 4. And then the back bunched up really better, and I had to slow down a lot. So yeah, they were fighting, and then I think Thomas didn't have an ideal racing line into turn 4, and I just had to slow down a lot. So yeah, we're losing a lot of time, but we're also not losing a lot of time because relative to P1 we stay pretty much the same, even though we're going much slower. And you can see basically P1 to P18, it's within 4 or 5 seconds maybe, so it's been really close. And the battling even in the DRS train has been really good so far, as Barry goes for a move down the inside of Brendan. They touch a little bit there, and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna set up turn 2 again, but I just misjudged it
What are
completely.
these guys doing?
I misjudged it completely, and I thought I was gonna get the switchback on Brandon there, but instead I think I might have actually hit him very softly. But yeah, I think Brandon is also just straggling on tires a little bit, and that's maybe why I misjudged it as well. Not to mention I just also couldn't see him coming from the left, so yeah, we lost out to Lucas because of the small mistake I made there. Fabrizio hit me a little bit in turn 8 when I was trying to go for a switchback on Brandon, which was frustrating. But yeah, I think because the cars are so much slower in lower speed corners, you tend to hit each other a little bit easier. The braking zones are longer as well, I think so. As Brandon was trying to find a gap to the car ahead, which was Lucas. Now I'm going for the switchback again. And this one was much better than the last time. Didn't hit Brandon this time. And into turn 4 we go. I have to stay on the outside here. But unfortunately...
Oh my god, these marbles, dude.
I got caught on marbles. And lost out quite a bit of time there. But you could see Brandon was flashing, which shows he is on a 10% battery. And we can make this move pretty easily. So onto half lap later. End of lap 8. I'm gonna go for it once again with the help of the overtake button. And this should not be too hard of a move. Down the outside we go. We're gonna get DRS nonetheless on the next straight anyway. We were ahead at the apex, and Brandon decided to give us space very fairly. Yeah, that was a good piece of racing between me and Brandon. It's unfortunate we lost a bit of our battery there because we got caught out on the marbles. But those marbles are pretty new in the F1 game. I think I just misjudged where they were a little bit, which is my fault. Again, as I said last week in Barcelona, I still seem to be a little bit rusty in league racing at the moment. I just seem to make a lot of mistakes, to be honest. But yeah, we just have to keep improving. I just have to get better. And
don't think he had it that straight, but he's very close.
Wilson's pitting. Dylan as well.
Start of lap 13. First hard runners that are starting to box. Brandon and Thomas have boxed. I think Freddy has boxed as well.
I'm going
at
least one more there, Marcel.
Onto hards. And Barry and Lucas were pushing here pretty hard. And that basically means they're going to box because they want to cover off the undercut. And a lot of people boxing really early onto mediums. And yeah, that basically I felt that because of that I decided to go longer. Because I wanted to go the opposite to what the others were doing. Instead of trying to cover off the undercut.
And longer both.
And as you can see there, Fabrizio and Lucas both boxing for mediums. And I decided, you know what?
Alright, then also Blakely pitting.
I'm gonna stay out for at least a few more laps. Just so we can create a tire advantage later on in the race. In case of a safety car, we can gain advantage from that as well, of course. Of course, the undercut is much stronger on F1 23, which is great for racing, because now we're gonna lose a lot of positions, but we're also gonna have much better tires and much more pace, which just makes the racing so much better and so much more exciting, so much more viable strategies. And into the box we go for a new set of mediums, end of lap 18. Our teammate has boxed 2 laps ago, so we should be coming out just ahead of Marcel probably. We're just gonna have to wait and see how it's gonna pan out. But Alfie Butcher boxing for a set of softs actually. I felt like mediums was going to be better because I want to catch up to the front of the train again, and I need good tires until the very end. So coming out here on lap 19 into turn 1.
Go ahead.
Straight away on the marbles.
Okay.
Yeah, the plan just did not quite work out because I wanted to come out just out of Marcel, and he ended up just.
So you can gain a bit more.
Yeah.
He ended up just ahead. Which was frustrating, because yeah, we wanted to fight together to the front, of course, and now we're gonna lose a little bit of time passing each other, of course, so we have to get past Thomas on old hards first. He had an incident with Otis earlier, and yeah, you can see here, he pushed us off here. I tried to go around the outside. I had much more grip, of course, on that set of new mediums. And we just
What is he doing, man? He's just trying to take me out.
And yeah, we couldn't quite pull it off. I think it wasn't a fair move because we would have been ahead of the apex if he had not carried an unholy amount of speed and just gone straight on. But yeah, it is what it is. I did overreact for sure. But yeah, tensions run high, just like in every sports and esports, of course. As Alfie goes for a huge lunge into turn 11, which is obviously not a corner where you send it.
In a fast corner.
And yeah, I left him enough space, even on the apex, even though he had way too much speed and basically braked on me. But yeah, it is what it is. If you see the sound cut out, it's just because I'm swearing. Me or Marcel swearing. But yeah, as I said, the tensions run high.
Yeah, we'll let you have the inside so you don't have marbles.
And now Marcel lets us go. Or lets us go. We have DRS as well, of course. I have fresher tires, so I'm gonna be faster, and that way I can pull Marcel towards the train ahead as well. You know. Unfortunately, Marcel made a mistake.
What am I seeing, man?
As Wilson was bumping into Jake on the straight there. It does seem to be a little bit dirty, the league racing at the moment. I'm not sure if it's because everyone is a little bit rusty. But yeah, usually I tend to verbally get frustrated and not on track, which I think is a rating, of course, because that way you race clean. But I also just want to get better at controlling my emotions, you know, because yeah, I think that way you can get more out of the race and stay focused. And not to mention, I just want to swear a little bit less. I saw a few days ago a very cute picture of a very little kid watching YouTube videos of mine. And yeah, maybe there's a young person watching my Twitch streams as well. So I just want to, you know, swear less, get better control of my emotions when racing, which I'm definitely gonna try my best at. And yeah, maybe that makes me a better driver as well. I'm quite sure it will make me a better driver. I think in the past few years, of course, my audience has grown a lot. And even though I think I've not changed a lot, I'm still raging probably less than back in the day. I think I just want to, you know, get better and be more positive when streaming, even under high pressure situations. But meanwhile, while I'm doing my little TED talk, we're making good progress. We are moving up the field quite comfortably because we have got so much fresher tires, of course. Down the inside of Nicolas, he decided to let us go. Of course, he's on much older tires, so for his own sake, it's probably better to not fight and then
What is going on?
Gain some extra positions later, you know, use his resources later in the race. And I think Brendan is thinking the same. He's on old hards, boxed at the end of lap 9, and we boxed at the end of lap 18 to medium, so we've got much more grip. Down the inside we go, and that is up to P7. And now Dylan Warren and Freddie Rasmussen ahead. Freddie was out in Q2, so he is having a very good race, and same for Dylan Warren, to be honest. Dylan was P20, and somehow he has gotten up to P6, which is insane. He does have a 3-second penalty though, of course, but still, I have no idea how he's pulled this off. Anyway, we have to get past Freddie, of course, one of the fastest sim racers of all time, so I expect this to not be easy because he's incredibly fast, of course. But he is on old hards, started on softs, had to box relatively early, but he locks up and gives us the position basically. You are on that curb and it is a little bit slippery there on the braking, so it's very easy to lock up or lose the back end. But it's very nice for us, and up to P6 we go. We've got 5.5 laps remaining, and we're gonna try and pass Dylan on the next race. He was weaving a little bit there, which basically shows that, you know what, you can get past, and then that way we can fight towards the front, because I've got the freshest tires of basically the entire field at the moment, and yeah, we are gonna close the gap to the cars ahead. The question is just, are we still gonna have that big of a tire advantage when we arrive, and will we get past them as easily as we did to all the cars behind us? Because as you can see, we have overtaken like 10 cars, I think so, maybe more. So yeah, it's been a very good race so far. Start of lap 27. Fabrizio going for a move on Barry, who's going on for a move on Alvaro. And yeah, this is great for us because you can see Alvaro is flashing, and I'm just gonna sit back for now. Lucas is too far ahead. The maximum we can get here is P2 realistically. Lucas is like 5 seconds ahead, and I was, you know what, I'm focusing on P2 here, getting maximum points. I decided to go for a move down the inside, but it's not enough. Fair play to Alvaro. It was good racing. Just left just enough room for me to have a little go, and I couldn't pull it off because Alvaro played that perfectly. But on to the last lap we go now. We've got a lot of ERS, and you might be thinking, why are we not pushing? And that's because the cars ahead doing just that, and they might be fighting in the next few corners and losing each other time. They're all flashing, which means later on in this track I'm gonna have an advantage with that ERS. So I'm just gonna play it smart, not do anything crazy. Alvaro flashing once again there, trying to go for a move on Fab, and I'm just chilling here on 30% ERS, which is gonna recharge a little bit more, of course, but the same will be for Alvaro and Fabrizio. Just chilling here and then go for a move later on in this lap. So I'm just setting that up. I still have more grip than the cars ahead, of course, but I just haven't really been able to go for a move yet, which is frustrating because if we had as much of a grip advantage as when we had a few laps ago,
insane.
then these moves would have been much easier, of course, but that is of course not the case, as you can see. And Alvaro is flashing. We are on 30% ERS, which means we basically got like at least 20% more than him at the moment. And you can see I'm using a little bit there to make sure that when we exit the next corner that's coming up here, we're gonna turn on the overtake button and go for a move, maybe even for two. We're gonna go for it on Alvaro. Can we have enough momentum to go for it on Fabrizio as well? No, we're just too far away, and it's only gonna be P4, unfortunately. Strategy didn't quite work out, unfortunately, which is frustrating. But yeah, only myself to blame for that. I decided to go for a strategy. Maybe we lost out a little bit of time with the incidents, of course, which was unfortunate. Please don't go to the other drivers' social media to talk bad. Just, you know, be positive. Of course, I tend to rage pretty hard in these races when incidents happen, which of course I want to change. I want to be more emotionally in control, as I said. But yeah, please refrain from going into other people's chats, because I've realized as well that of course I've got a lot of influence on the so many amazing people that watch me, but I also want to use that influence in a good way. So please refrain from going into, you know, other people's social media, and if you do, then please say something nice. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're gonna try and be back next week around Circuit of the Americas in USA. One of my favorite tracks, of course, so can't wait to race there once again in PSGL. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.